It's going to get slightly less nostril and slightly more sort of. That's that's a really good. Yeah, it's really, really good. Really good.
I can't see that, can I? Okay.
Stand in front of the flag.
Right.
Yeah.
So very good.
We're not on YouTube, so
We're just doing mine.
but don't stand.
That's here.
Yeah. I'll keep an eye on it and move it around.
Yeah, okay.
So, time it comes. What we're going to move. I think they're coming back in now. They're going. Is this one? Are you live streaming this one? Live streaming. Well, they're asking in case the sons, because obviously my friends are coming later. Yeah.
Well, that's not everything. So is that you
need to put your head in front of that.
I'm not putting my head anywhere.
If you understand from the room,
I think having Johnny in front of that. We can shut the curtain.
So I think my name is service.
I don't move around.
I told you that would
And Alex. So what, if you scribble that, you get some easier. You do. That's good. That's even better. Except remember. So you put the scribble in anyway, so sorry, did I not brief you?
Part of resolution 2, and arithmetic 1. Can you hear me? Can you hear me at the back? Right. Okay. Highlight of the day. Some of us. We're trying to keep this short and snappy because we want to get through and on to the main event which is coming after. We've got a sequence of finely honed and tuned speeches to follow. And we hope that as they are laid out in front of you, it will bring to life some of the characters that you've seen up front today. My job is to kick off, and I'd like to start by, on your behalf, welcoming Raina to her new extended family and friends in London. It's been great to see you today. It's been a long anticipated event for you, for Michael, and for others who've been part of the preparation. And we're delighted to see you here, and we're looking forward to getting to know you better and to living and going out and enjoying life with you in the future. Claire and I first met Raina last November on a trip to New York, and in her second home city, and we were instantly impressed and loved her warmth, her spontaneity, her sense of humour, her calmness. Living with Mike and being around Mike was impressive, and we had a great time. We had a wonderful day. Those of you who've seen the wedding pics, there's a fantastic picture of Mike and Raina on the Brooklyn Bridge, which was a fantastic walk that we did after coffee, and never forget that. It's a really wonderful time, and it really felt just right. And I think we knew that there was something up when later in the evening we were having dinner with Michael and Raina, and Raina, during a lull in the conversation, was very quiet. So we said, "So Johnny, what is the secret of a long-lasting relationship?" And so, there were all sorts of things going on. I think space-time continuum stopped, and I was thinking, so what's happening next, and what is the answer to that question? And I was thinking about forgiveness, I was thinking about accommodation, I was thinking about ending arguments really well. And Claire just said, you need shared interests, really good projects, and great sense of humour. I thought, fine, that will do for me. We moved on to talk about menu and all sorts of other things, and we hadn't, so it wasn't a real surprise when we heard that you were to become engaged, to be married. And so I thought again I'd take that lead, as sometimes I do from Claire, and explore on your behalf the important aspects of sharing, because I think it was sharing an interest in immersive theatre and theatre entertainment that brought you both together in the very first place, because I think I'm right in saying that you met in a queue to a theatre engagement. More or less, it's a great story. And subsequently, that shared interest in the arts and the entertainment has brought you together, enabled you to have great times together and build the relationships you now have. So that is a great place to be on. And I know, and I'm not sure if everybody's had a chance to see the Amos project, the Amos Trust website, your joint enthusiasm and passion for the work that they do and the efforts that they're making to improve lives around the world, whether it be in Colombia, South Africa, or wherever, is something that's very dear to your heart. And again, that sort of thing, I guess, and I know from my experience, is important in keeping the relationship together. So, Raina, these are now some thoughts for you. From my experience of knowing Mike over our time since university together, I guess that's probably about 23 years. So not as long as many of you, but it's a reasonable time period. And really give you a choice of what sort of interests you might want to share with Mike and those that you might not want to share with Mike. By the way, for those of you who are worried about the British National Party flag, I'm sure it won't come out in reality like this at all. So, I think we'd all of us know and recognise Mike's got a fantastic, positive attitude, great joie de vivre, and an ability to appreciate life and all that it has to offer. And I think what marks him out from many others is his desire and also ability to share it. If I had a show of hands of who's been out to an event with Mike, or a show, or a sporting event, I mean, he does really make a great effort to share what he thinks is important, what's happening, and we all benefit, and thank you very much for it. I know that Raina has too, so that's a starting point. And this natural ability to bring people together, and I think I've heard several people say today how fantastic it is to be back in touch with people for the first time for 30 years, to have our whole family together, and that again is testament to Mike, who has this great belief in people and families and close-knit communities, and being able to build them and bring them together. So that's fantastic. It's not necessarily the best summing up of it, but it does make my speech easier if I sum it up as clubability. And by that I don't mean being out every night until 2 in the morning. I mean more of an 18th, 19th century gentleman's clubability, where it is this interest in life, interest in people, and ability to keep a conversation going, to explore what other people are interested in, and not just what you're interested in, which marks Mike out. So I think his generosity is legendary, as you've just seen. I think it was called in an article I read from The Spectator, habitual gregariousness. That's probably, yes, the medical community will be looking that up. It just means a hell of a good guy. But clubability is important because one of the things about the gentleman's world in London is the clubs to which one belongs. And the diversion here is that the Queen's cousin, Mountbatten, no longer with us, held the record in his claim for the most number of clubs joined, which is 19. Mike's only 15 away from that figure, and I think has every chance of achieving that. So, what I also thought is that one of the great quotes about clubs is Groucho Marx, which is, I wouldn't want to be a member of a club that had me as member, but I would actually want to be a member of many clubs that Mike is a member of. So I'd like to sort of take you through, Raina, because I think you have the choice of which of these clubs you may want to join him at. And as you go through this, I think it's worth thinking about probably 3 things for each of these. What does it tell you about Mike? What does it tell you about the UK and the people here? And is there any connection or relevance for you in your life and where you come from? So, I'm just going to take you through 5 of the associations of clubs that Mike's a part of his life. And I think as you go through it, you'll see that it brings various elements, some of which are here today, that bring Mike to life. And the first one is Emmanuel Alumni. So our old club, our old college, has a very thriving club. Alumni meets regularly, has great events in the city, with carol singing, And Mike is also, for those who may not know, he puts a lot of time into helping fundraising and advising them on their investment strategy, all for the love of the college and the free wine that happens on the top table. Emmanuel College is a very beautiful place, Rainer, and I would recommend that you go and have a look around. Also, it has the attraction of being a place which is very quiet and cut off, and you can actually concentrate and be away from the hubbub of London. And any old student of Emmanuel has a room there at any time if there's a room free. So if you're thinking of where can I go from London, Emmanuel College is a very good place to go. So I recommend Emmanuel alumni, some of whom are here today, and many of them have done a great job getting us through the sound system, the Ian here, and Dave getting us on the bus, and others who've been part of the, we all trained to actually sort of look after Mike from a very early age. Now the next club is not so far away from here. They've been playing a nearly finished Fulham Football Club. There's only one team in Fulham, and it's Chelsea supporter here. And Mike's been a season ticket holder for many years. Rainer, you've been to the ground. What does one know about Fulham, or what does one find out about Mike if one goes to a Fulham Football Club? The first thing you start to understand is that Mike has very strong opinions about the quality of refereeing. And that's important, it's relevant, but what you might not know is that he also has a very he won't need a microphone, by the way, today to have his speech, because he has the loudest boom in Fulham Craven Cottage. So just be careful if you are thinking of sitting next to Mike at a football match. You will certainly be startled by the decisions aren't going quite the way you would want them to. I think, what does it tell you? What do you learn also about British life going to football at Fulham College? Well, it's a very genteel, it's a very civilised place. I think you've been there. It's right up close. It's a great place to watch football. But perhaps one of the lesser known factors is that there it is that you learn the difference between cottage pie and a shepherd's pie. Now, a cottage pie is the main dish that's served at Craven Cottage. And most of the time in Britain you'll be offered shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie is lamb, cottage pie is beef. So then you have the distinction of one of the little pieces of learning going to football with Mike, which you might not know. So Fulham Football Club also has a connection for you with a guy from Colombia called Hugo Rodríguez, one of the greatest footballers in the last 4 or 5 years. Still lives in Fulham. There is a connection there, and very popular footballer he was too. So I don't know if everybody's aware that the other one of the aspects of Mike is the freedom of the City of London. So Mike has the ability to be a member of the guild of his choice, still to be. So that will be the next club that he joins, will be the 6th one, still to be determined. And that is important, really, because one of the things that it does is it gives you a little booklet which talks you how to lead an honourable life. And Mike should, if he's true to the freedom of the City of London, be living an honourable life in the way that it's sworn to. But more importantly, I think, is that you may not know that as a freeman of the City of London, you do have the right to herd sheep across London Bridge. And if Mike is half the man I think he is, between now and next decade, I think he'll be looking for an opportunity to show you how you herd sheep as a freeman of the City of London across London Bridge. And Mike has been working in the city since university, in investment, in pensions, and now in energy products. 25 years? And so he's really ingrained in the city, in its life, its work, and the place itself. And I know he has a great love for the architecture, all that it has, as well as, and hence becoming the freedom of the city. So it's a privilege and an honour which not is granted to everyone. I think there's probably 20 or so thousand people only. But that takes us to the next one, and really the most important one. You may not have realised that you have married a geographer. Now that's a little known professional and academic discipline, but for us, there were 3 or 4 of us at the university who did geography and or late land economy, as some of us did. And I think geography is an important aspect of all that Mike's done in his travel and his interest in the environment and interest in what's going on in the world, and that explains his choice to become a fellow of the member of the Royal Geographic Society, which is another choice that you can consider. It's a great venue in Kensington. It's close to a lot of the good shopping. It's a lovely place to be, and Mike as a fellow is esteemed and valued there. It also has interesting libraries, talks and all sorts of things which you may find entertaining around. I'm not sure it links to Columbia. There might be a Columbian connection there. Great explorers being members, and it's a really interesting place. I would just put in a plea for the geographers amongst us, which is much maligned, and I think Mike would value the time that is taken just to read out a statement for the Royal Geographic Society, because geography underpins our understanding of the world, its people, its places, its landscape and its environment. If we fail to manage the world sustainably, the human race will ultimately falter. And the Royal Geographic Society is set up to do what it can to maintain that discipline, maintain that focus, and keep the human race somewhat on track. So, another little aspect of what you might want to share in terms of Mike's interest in geography and maps and cartography. So, near the last one, MCC. This is where I really get very jealous. And all sorts of things that I would recommend about the Marylebone Cricket Club. There is actually an association with Columbia. The Bogota Sports Social Club is twinned with MCC, and what it's probably got the last game we played, unfortunately, in 2002. So, and the reason being, geographers amongst us will realise it, because Bogota is about 2,600 metres, the area is very thin, there's not a lot of swerve on the ball. What can I say? So, another benefit of geography. The MCC is a fantastic institution. I really recommend you go there. You've got to experience that on a match day. It's a great part of the English British tradition. And I think what it tells us about Mike is that he had great foresight, great planning. I mean, today is testament to planning. We started planning a long time. Mike started planning a long time ago. We started this morning about 6:45 planning. We were in here at 9:45, finishing the planning. We've been planning. Anyway, equally, Mike put his name down for MCC 27 years ago-ish, and now became a member for the last couple of years. So, great foresight and great planning. I think the other aspect that you learn about the MCC is what is a really great mystery to the British public, right? Which is you'll often be asked, just turn out smart casual. What does smart casual mean? And if you look in the dictionary, there are no definitions of what smart casual is, except if you go to the MCC dress code. And there it's very clear. So when you do go to MCC, you should not wear sports shoes. You should not wear shorts or tracksuits or jeans, or in fact denim. You should not wear garments of camouflage. You should not wear a bikini. No bare midriff will be in there. No torn or ripped clothing, and no dilapidated or ripped garments. So that's why I don't go there often. But you will now see what smart casual can mean. So a great choice that we've laid before you today. Shared interests. What have we got? We've got geography. Maybe not. We've got cricket. It's a tricky one. Football. Maybe. I think there could be something in there. Emmanuel College, well, we're all here for you, and you must go up to the college and see what you make of it and see what you think about it. There's no doubt you've got many different interests yourself, and you'll be sharing those with Mike. And I think what we would like to say is that in addition to the shared interests, you also benefit from the support and love of the community that you have joined today. And we wish you and Mike the very best for a very happy and rewarding long life together. And I would like you to raise your glasses now to Mike and Raina. Mike and Raina. Thank you. I'm going to pass to Michael.
to move to the streamed to Columbia. It's perfect. Well, thank you, Jonathan. Who would have known this was all about me today? I've got a lot of thank yous to say, and I'll get onto those shortly. Thank you, Jonathan, for that speech, and thank you all for being with us today. It means so much to us on what is already a very special day, and it's only just beginning, it turns out. Who knew that it took so many people to make a wedding happen? Florists, beautiful floral arrangements, fantastic. Delighted to see them when we arrived this morning at 6:45. Photographers, magicians, he's gone now, we've disappeared, but immigration officials, thank you to them, we saw a lot of them over the month. And hairdressers. It took 3 different hairdressers until I was happy. But now it works for me. So here we are, and we're absolutely thrilled, genuinely, and delighted that you, dearest friends and relations, are with us today. We're also delighted, that Raina's friends and family hopefully have been able to join the live stream, or we'll have a chance to do it on catch-up, or iPlayer, or whatever they have in Colombia. We'd like to say a special thank you to those of you, and there are several, who've travelled so far to be with us today. A long way. In some cases, as we've already heard, the church, visiting the Manchester Derby to be here. We did plan this before the fixtures came out, obviously. And in the case of cousin Sarah, flying in from the Netherlands, I just want to say we're delighted you didn't fly in earlier in the week into London City, when there was a bit of a delay. Thanks, Will. And we're delighted that Will is in Wales today to be here. So, indeed, you know, it is actually, it's a real sorrow and sadness that the Raina's family aren't with us today here in person. What that does, of course, mean is it opens up the opportunity to do this all over again in Colombia, and you're all invited over there, or watch the live stream. So, to help Raina understand who the heck is in this room with us today, you know, a lot of you she's got to meet and know very well over the last few months, but some of you just got a clue who you are. So, I thought it would be a good idea if I got we would get groups of you to identify yourselves. So she gets a general flavour of the different groups who are here. In some cases, you will put your hands up more than once. So do concentrate. Right? Do concentrate. So can I just have a show of hands, wave, and a bit of a cheer for anyone in the Swain, Pettifer, or Beecham family? I think we're more room. Okay. So next up, the O'Brien Fletcher Sadler family. The actors! There's a lot of them. Okay. I don't know why I wrote this down, but it probably was the vicar who prompted it. Who are Northerners? Oh yeah, there's a few of them, right? Northerners. They'll tell you what Northerners means later. Who here is from Cambridge University? Yay! They're in the front corner, yeah. And some of them are out having a cigarette or something. Who here is from Cranbrook School or Corstorm? Hooray! Corstorm boy. And who here has performed or been to a performance at the Edinburgh Fringe? Oh, yes, it was anyone, this is it won't go on much longer, don't worry. Anyone who's been involved in immersive theatre in any way? Way! Oh, left field. Yeah, good job. For the rest of you, I just want to give you fair warning. You will be prepared later to perform a little piece based upon the names on your tables, all right? So, you know, that's a joke. It's a joke, Tansy. Anyone who studied geography or land economy? Oh, go geography, go land economy. I told you about on that long highlight. Anyone who played or still plays hockey? Hey! I'm terribly upset that Hillary did not bring the Player of the Year cup here for Bank of England Player of the Year. But it's great to have you all here. Hockey players, gold medal. Anyone born in another country? Oh, yes. Yeah, a few of them, right? Yeah, you've such a big hand. Anyone who voted for Brexit? Oh, no. Anyone who has not yet put their hand up for any of the above? What the hell are you doing there? There are some British Airways people I should have given a shout to. And people. I'd also like to mention the absent friends who we would have loved to have been here with us. Especially our dear friend Mike Baker, who many of you knew, of course. Also my birth parents, Jean and Claude. Claude I only was fortunate enough to meet 5 years ago, and now those of you who've known me many years will get to meet my birth relations through Claude, and how lovely they are all too. They both would have loved to be at this event. So. Absent friends. As Johnny alluded to, Raina and I first met in New York. And we regularly ended up going to the theatre and art galleries and various events there. A memorable early event in that relationship had us walking, true story, walking across Times Square, big billboard up for Kodak. And the concept of the billboard was there would be a zoom camera that would zoom in on people walking by and take their picture, expand it, and put it in another city, right? And this camera suddenly zoomed in on us walking across Times Square. There were we up on this huge billboard, and this hand of God-like thing took us and put us into a London bus on Tower Bridge. And it was almost like it was meant to be. Seriously, it was shiver down the spine, quite incredible. For a long time, it seems that we were going to be in the same country together. Raina still loves, and for 20 years loved New York, and I love London. But finally, last year, we decided we should get together, and Raina decided she'd come to London. Hurrah! But obviously, before that happened, I had to ask her mother permission to marry her daughter. So, we agreed that I would call Maria. Maria doesn't speak a word of English. I have a few phrases of Spanish. So I wrote it out in English. By the way, Belly over here is Colombian and he knows what it's like. So I wrote it out in English, and Raina wrote the Spanish for me. So far, so good. Raina calls her mum, Maria, mama, whatever, it's like. Hands over to me. Hola, Maria. Sounds good, right? And then I start reading. And at the end of every phrase, Maria would say, Ken. Undaunted, I just carried on. Got to the end. She hadn't a clue what I was talking about. Obviously, the pronunciation wasn't really on point. Anyway, luckily, Raina then took the phone, explained what it was all about, and she was delighted to give her permission. So, earlier this year, we went to Colombia to visit the family and catch up and talk about the preparations. Now, by this time, I'd learned a little bit more. I worked out. I'd brushed up on my phrases. Buenos dias, con mucho gusto, which is very Colombian, right? Mucho gusto. Yes. So, we had a really lovely time with Maria and Gloria and Reina's sister. And Maria at the end said to Reina, "Oh, he's so nice, he's really learned Spanish. The only thing is he won't talk to me now in Spanish, thinking that I was going to be fluent, and I haven't got a clue what she was saying to me." So it was reciprocated. One other thing on Colombian Spanish. There are various phrases, and I'm sure Kelly would be able to tell us a whole host of them. But one which really caught my attention was, and correct my pronunciation, "Quien pidió pollo?" Which says, "Who ordered the chicken?" Which is apparently what you say when a beautiful woman walks into the room. So today, "Quien pidió pollo?" Sport has occasionally played a part in our relationship, although, to be fair, Johnny, the last Fulham player that Reina remembers was Jimmy Pollard, so that says a lot about how often she's been to Fulham. But actually, quick aside, when she found out that my middle name was James, or James, she was very impressed, because James is the most famous footballer in Colombia. So there's something we've got in common. More importantly for Reina is road cycling, and you think you're missing the Manchester Derby. Today is Quintana versus Froome in the Vuelta. That is what really will get her attention, right? And we'll get an update on that later. And I think the little Colombian will win that one. When I told Reina that British weddings have speeches, her immediate reaction, which is probably shared by many of you, was, "Oh no." But when I told her that she didn't have to make one, she was more relaxed about it. And when I said that mine was mainly about thank yous, she was especially delighted. Obviously, that was a lie. But so she said, "So long as you don't make too many jokes." So that's so anyway, here we go the thank yous, of which they are very heartfelt from both of us. The best man, Jonathan and Alex, a dear friend and a wonderful son. I'm not going to say anything more, right? You've got it all in your programs. Well, but no, thank you both very much indeed for all of your hard work, and more to come yet. Just wait and see. The bridesmaids, Lucy and Miranda, where are you? And Miranda, thank you both so much. They were doing a splendid job last night, I know, when I left my house, or our house, to help prepare Reina for the next 24 hours. The ushers, Ian, Mr. Digital, in the waistcoat, Charles, Mr. Bubbly. This is like one of those Tarantino movies, actually. David, Mr. Red Bus. David was the Maple chairman when I did entertainments there, which takes us back, and it's the first time we've reunited. We'll have to practice more. And the lady ushers, Claire, Claudia, and Chrissy. Thank you all. The clergy who are not with us now, and they're preparing for a second wedding on the same day, Richard and Anne. Anne was the curate, and she was especially nervous because it was actually her first wedding as a curate, and she's now leading her first wedding at around now. And finally, I think the, and next the BAC, Bachelor Arts Centre staff, thank you to Tanit and Frankie the chef. Great job you've done. You're not in the room, but great job they've done. The poet, Phoebe Claire Powell, and you'll hear a little bit of her work in a moment, and we'll talk about that in a second. The entertainers, Paul the magician, I've spoken about, James the pianist. We'll see more of him. David O'Brien is and Scarlett in the Wilderness. We'll keep that for later. And finally, the cake maker, Katie Marshall. You'll have a chance to sample that later in the evening. But there is one final thanks, which I have to give. People talk about blood, sweat and tears. They don't mention the teeth and the near loss of life. Jessica Edwards is responsible for a lot of what you see here today. Jess is my goddaughter, and she had a terrible bike accident on the way to a gathering at Jonathan's as we were preparing for this event, and was rushed to hospital. And I feel very guilty for putting her under so much pressure. But she did say, I am a harder taskmaster than Jamie Lloyd. Is that right? Which is one of the directors that she works regularly for. Before I close, there's one final thing I want to say, and I'm sorry it's gone on a bit. I would like to pay tribute to Chris Rose, who you heard speak earlier, and the team at Amos Trust. And you've all received invitations from us to potentially donate if you'd like to. We'd love it if you do. To the Just Giving site that Amos Trust had set up for us, in lieu of wedding presents or anything else. Alex volunteered for a month at Ntombo in South Africa with street children in Durban. Raina and I have visited Children Change Colombia, a group that Amos had worked with in Bogota. I just saw a week ago some Palestinians, refugees, dancers and singers on the steps of St Paul's in conjunction with St Paul's Cathedral that Amos sponsored, also at the Edinburgh Fringe. They've done fantastic work bringing causes to public attention and investing in communities who are least able to help themselves. And thank you all so much for your contributions to that Just Giving side. If Chris is going to be around partying and getting drunk for the rest of the night, I think. And you know, chat to him about it. He takes groups to places like Palestine to visit the work they do. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you all for that. So finally, if I've missed anyone else, I apologise. Thank you all for coming and sharing this amazing event with us. I would now like to propose one toast, just from my heart, which is to Raina and the bridesmaids.
Hello. Right, I will actually try and keep it short. So about a month ago, I received a text from my dad asking me one of his regular questions about an event. And we've heard about this ticketing thing that he has. And it said, would you like to come and watch Richard Dawkins and give a lecture? And I thought, number one, as a psychology student, I thought, yeah, brilliant. Number two, pretty concerned about what's happened to my genes, so yeah, also useful. So I replied, yes, absolutely, of course. but I made the concern about tickets. You know, surely Richard Dawkins, bit of a problem to get tickets, well-known lecturer, and the reply I received could not have been more true. Not for Big Mike, the Ticket King. And since making this speech, I've actually heard from the Turners their nickname of Ticket Master, and I think there's variations of those. So yeah, as Dave mentioned, whether it's talks, theatre, sports, anything else, if it's live, I think my dad's interested. It's certainly not unusual for me to hear about 4 or 5 events that he's going to every week. And I'm definitely not criticising that habit. I've occasionally benefited from this obsession, whether it's Athens Olympics, World Cup in Brazil, England cricket in the West Indies, you know, it doesn't stop. But I think this obsession reached new heights during London 2012. Now, I'm not certain how much of his working day, none of his working colleagues are here yet, but I'm not sure how much is spent watching sports, checking his fantasy football, or of course looking for tickets. But taking 2 weeks off work doesn't usually entail spending even more time out of the house and watching sports. I think by my memory he went to every single venue except sailing and kayaking, and I think those were only because he couldn't fit in a second event in the same day. And these included previously unheard of passions for things like handball, rhythmic gymnastics, and even beach volleyball. Now, given the scramble for tickets back then, with ballots and second-hand tickets going for thousands, I'm sure you're wondering, how on earth did he get all those tickets? Well, you forget, this is Big Mike the Ticket King. What most people don't think of doing, after only getting a few of their desired tickets, is to book a package holiday with Thomas Cook. Well, this is not abroad, but it's actually to London. So these tickets accompanied with hotel rooms, whether it be near Waterloo after the opening ceremony, or even more usefully a Hounslow travel lodge after Super Saturday Athletics. Now I think it speaks volumes that Rayner managed to persuade him to spend this summer here rather than returning to Rio. But as I mentioned, this obsession is not restricted to sports. Theatre is equally important. And liking to keep up with the times, as he ever does, conventional theatre seems a thing of the past. Mike's new passion, well, fairly new, is immersive theatre. So, as you mentioned, the loud people later will be his fellow immersive theatregoers. And I think I'm right in saying this passion was ignited in this very building when we both came to a Punch Drunk performance of Mask of the Red Death. You'll see the masks by the cake there. And that was back in 2008. But it's only recently when immersive theatre became very central, with his experiences at uni Bum Bum Train. It's not what you're thinking. It involves paying spectators going through various situations where volunteers provide a scene. And when the tickets came out, of course, the Ticket King was very keen to get involved. So, in a ballot that seemed even more competitive than the Olympics, I heard a few weeks later that he had indeed managed to get tickets. What he didn't quite mention was how unlikely that was. After failing the ballots, every person who had applied for tickets, something like 10,000 people, were entered into a competition. And of course, the one person of 10,000 to win the pair of tickets was Big Mike. And I definitely think, whether it be immersive theatre or not, today's theme of the wedding has very much allowed him to finally be the star actor he wishes to be. As we mentioned as well, the other shared passion has been Fulham. And this is a passion that I'm sure, for one, that I was born with, given various different allegiances in the past. You know, presenting themselves as Fulham fans is questionable, given the first match that I went to at the age of 5 was at Stamford Bridge. Of course I hated it, refused to ever go again. And of course, I am delighted now that we have all reached what you could call nirvana of a football fan, mid-table in the Championship. And I know this love for travel and events is very much shared by Raina. In fact, the first time I met Raina was a good 6 or 7 years ago when I was performing at the Edinburgh Festival with my school. She came to watch my performance. And with as we've heard about, the many shared trips to Broadway, travel to Cuba and Colombia, I'm sure that the main problem for the Ticket King is now they'll have to find 3 tickets rather than 2. On a serious note, to finish, to you, Dad, I know of no other separated parents who've been able to provide such a loving and united family. So I'm very grateful for that. And to Raina, I've enjoyed getting to know you so much, and I welcome you to the family. So thank you.
So usually the alumni was asked of reading out messages from those who can't be with us. Now, I really do apologise because this starts with something reminiscent of my dad trying to speak Spanish. Because we have a message from Maria, the mother of Raina, and I've been asked to start with the Spanish version. Now it's a page, so bear with me. Hola a todos. El anhelo más grande de todo madre es poder estar presente en el matrimonio de sus hijos, con el amor de su vida y ser testigo de su felicidad total. Por eso hoy, hija, siento mucho no poder acompañarte en tu matrimonio, tu día especial, pero tú sabes que lo estaré de corazón, en espíritu y pensamiento, contigo y tu querido esposo Michael, a quien le doy la bienvenida a nuestra familia con los brazos abiertos, los amamos. A ti, Michael, te llame decirte que te llamas un tesoro muy preciado de nuestra familia. Raina es un excelente ser humano, fundamentada en valores éticos y morales. Sus más preciadas virtudes son la integridad, humildad, lealtad, sinceridad, respeto y muchas otras más que la hacen una mujer valiosa, grande y merecedora de serse inmensamente feliz. Ella tiene un alma buena, noble y genuina. Siempre está dispuesta a ayudar incondicionalmente a quien lo necesite, sin ostentación alguna. Su bandera es la justicia. Yo sé que el amor de ustedes es auténtico, puro y verdadero, y por eso su vida de casados será maravillosa. Michael y Raina, le deseo desde lo más profundo de mi ser lo mejor del mundo y mucha felicidad en su hogar. Que el amor que los une hoy sea la base donde se apoyarán mutuamente para vencer obstáculos y dificultades que se presentarán en el camino de la vida. Porque nadie es perfecto. Pero el amor, la paciencia y el respeto mutuo serán armas poderosas para salir airosos de cualquier reto o situación difícil. Pero sobre todo, comunicación, mucha comunicación constante para destruir barreras, crear, edificar y conquistar. Cada día un mundo más alegre y amoroso de envidiar proporciones. Muchas gracias a todos por acompañar a mi querida hija hoy y por hacer de esta una celebración maravillosa y inolvidable para Michael y Raina. Y a ti, hija mía, recibe todo mi amor en la bendición
que hoy te mando, junto con mi corazón. Recuerda siempre, sé feliz. Dios los bendiga a todos. Disfruten la fiesta. Un abrazo en la distancia. María.
So now the slightly easier version.
Hello everyone. The greatest dream of every mother is to be able to present their child at their marriage with the love of their life and witness their total happiness. So today, my dear Reina, I am so sorry not to accompany you on your special day, your marriage. But you must know that my spirit, my mind and my heart will be with you and your dear husband Michael, whom I welcome to our family with open arms. We love you both dearly. To you, Michael, let me tell you, you are receiving a precious treasure of our family. Reina is a great daughter, a wonderful sister, an awesome aunt, and a fabulous friend. And I'm sure she'll be an excellent wife. Justice, morals, and values are central in Reina's life. She is always willing to help those in need unconditionally and without ostentation. She is a good and genuine soul. I know that the love you two share is pure and true, and that your married life will be wonderful. From the bottom of my being, I wish both of you the best in the world and much happiness in your home. The love that unites you today is the base where you will support each other to overcome obstacles that come from interacting on a daily basis, because nobody is perfect. But love, patience, and mutual respect are powerful weapons to successfully overcome any challenge or difficult situation. But above all, communication. Constant communication will help you to destroy barriers, create, build, and conquer each new day, a new beginning every day, a happier and more loving world of endless proportions. Thank you very much to everyone for making this such a wonderful day and an unforgettable celebration. Sending a big hug from long distance. Enjoy the party. God bless you. Maria.
So I'm going to play a slightly better Spanish version for Maria's friend. Sorry, Reina's friend.
Thank you, Alex. It's so great to have the opportunity to take part in your wedding, and it's so lovely to see the Colombian flag in a wedding too. This is from Leonor Beltrán, Reina's best friend in Colombia. I'll start in my best Spanish. Amada amiga mía, es mi gran deseo acompañarte hoy en esta fecha tan especial y significativa para ti. Es un momento fugaz que cambiará tu vida para siempre. Hoy haces realidad un sueño que albergabas en lo profundo de tu corazón, te unes el amor de tu vida. Yo lo celebro desde la distancia y les deseo una hermosa existencia juntos, donde siempre reine el entendimiento, la comprensión, la comunicación y por supuesto el amor, que es la fuerza que todo lo puede. Reina Nubia, querida amiga de mis años de adolescencia, mi mejor amiga desde entonces, conozco tu corazón y sé que estás feliz. Pero también sé que tienes expectativas por los años venideros. Ellos estarán en las manos tuyas y de Michael. Hoy los dos se comprometen con la vida a hacer de ella su mejor versión, a darle vida a todas las ilusiones que ustedes tejieron desde aquella vez que sintieron que entre sus dos corazones había nacido la más hermosa fuerza del universo, el amor. Hoy ya son dos para mirar en la misma dirección, son dos almas en una para crecer los sueños y para vivir los mejores años. Les deseo desde lo más profundo de mi corazón que así sea. Está prohibida la duda y la tristeza, y por ti, Reina, amiga mía, estaré rogando para que seas la mujer más feliz del universo entero. Te amo desde siempre y para siempre, Leonor Beltrán. Now you're going to see the version the English version with my Colombian accent. My dear friend Reina, it's my greatest wish to be with you on this special and meaningful day. This is a fleeting moment that will change your life forever. Today, one of your dreams is coming true, a dream you have harbored deep in your heart today to join the love of your life. I celebrate it from the distance, far distance, and wish you a beautiful life together, where always reign understanding, communication, and of course love. That is the force that can do anything and everything. Reina, my dear friend of my teenager years and my best friend since, I know your heart, I know you are happy, but I also know you have expectations for the coming years. They will be in your hearts and Michael's today, the two of you committed with life to make it of it. It's between you two hearts was born the most beautiful force of the universe, love. And today, you are two to look in the same direction. You are two souls in one to grow dreams and to live the best years. I wish you from the bottom of my heart, so be it. Doubt and sadness are prohibited here today. And you, Reina, my friend, I'll be praying for you to be the happiest woman in the whole universe. I love you forever and ever, Leonor Beltrán.
So just to finish, dessert will be served again, like the main course, and we'll just do table by table. But before we finish, yeah, I'd also like to raise a toast to Michael and Reina.
Thank you.